McGavin here, how's it going guys? Today we've got the updated version of my Stamina Templar that I'm currently playing this patch. I've made the switch to a 2H and bow for quite a few different reasons. The first reason was the lack of sustain that I got from playing the old build. The sustain I thought was there, but it turns out in 1vx it's not there. It's almost like you're lacking sustain and you're lacking burst, and you're just wearing people down. And if you don't wear them down, they'll wear you down. Where this build reminds me of how I played Stamsork and Stamplar well back in Horns of the Reach. You know, it's got a lot of mobility, it's got a lot of burst. I much prefer it better all round in group and in solo. So yeah, this is the build. Stay tuned if you're interested. We'll get into the sets that I'm running. So we still run the Ravager. Ravager's really important on Stamina Templar. It's a great set in order to sort of up that damage and create burst. It's really balanced all round. So we'll go Ravaging Greatsword. The reason why I've gone for a sword, I've enjoyed playing with bleeds on the axes before. I am a fan of the bleeds and what you can get. But I wanted to create more burst through this build, so that's the reason why I've gone for the 2H sword. Get that nerned, put the weapon damage enchant on that. There's a reason behind this, why you won't backbar it, and I'll explain that when I get to it. So yeah, Ravaging 2-piece on the two-hander, and then the rest we make up just by throwing on the rings. Alright, so I've got these nice and golden now, which I'm really pleased with. Trait change them all to robust. I haven't really looked at any of the I've not looked, but I've not explored any of the other jewelry traits you can use. I feel like this is absolutely fine. So Ravaging Jewelry, 174 damage, and the recovery on 1. If you feel like you're lacking damage, you won't be lacking damage, but if you feel like you are, you can change that. If you feel like you're over sustaining, you can mix them, match them. It's entirely up to you. Ravaging 5-piece, seen it before. Crit health, chunk of weapon damage, and then the increased weapon damage for 645 for 10 seconds. Now the uptime on this is amazing on jabs. You'll jab and you'll have all those chances on each jab to proc it. The uptime is very good. The downside can be that sometimes when you're engaging a target for the burst at the beginning, sort of like not coming from stealth, but when you're moving from bow onto a target, sometimes it won't always proc, but more than often it's going to be enough, and then if you don't get them, the Ravager proc will come back round and you'll be sitting happy on that. So that's how we make up the Ravager 5-piece. The next piece is a crafted set, Shackle Breaker. I'm a really big fan of this set on a Stamplar for many reasons. We'll just go through what I've got it made up of. So I go heavy on the chest, triglyph right there. Light, max stam there, all in pen by the way, medium there, max stam, and then the last two pieces, heavy, triglyph there, and then heavy, standard stam glyph there. So overall I'm running 1, 2, 3, 4 stam glyphs, and then 1, 2, 3 triglyphs. The triglyphs are really important when we synergize the max stats with a crafted set. So obviously we can craft the shackle, so we can go into the 5 heavy, 1 medium, 1 light. We unlock those undaunted, we unlock the undaunted passives, and then things start to scale really well. You know, the roughly 2k max stam and max magicka we get, that scales so nice. Alright, and it's been able to allow me to change some skills around and really change the build around and improve it so much. Obviously you could run Bone Pirate if you want to run the dubious food, but I like to run the new gold food. That's where I run this. So yeah, really balanced set, works very well. And then nothing's changed up here. We still run the 2-piece every Troll King in pen, as I've said, max stam on that one, both heavy. The final part of the set piece comes from the bow. So this is the Master's Bow, drops in VDSA, really nice on Stamplar, especially with Ravager. Alright, so trait I've got on this is defending, just because I'm not going to be running anything other than poisons. I'll come on to the poisons in a minute. But the 2-piece bonus, activate on back bar. On target, you increase your damage by 301 for the tick of poison arrow. So I think poison arrow, poison inject ticks for maybe 9-8 seconds. So you get 300 damage just on that target for those 9 seconds. That's why we've had to make the change and put the weapon damage on the greatsword. It does mean that I've no longer got any defile on this build, but the way you burst in, it's not a problem at all. Just do it, just make a change. Get this bow as well, really good. So yeah, obviously running defending. The weapon enchant we don't have on. We run double dot poisons. Now these things are insane. I'll comment down on the video what you use to make them if you don't already know, but the amount of damage that you get from them is really good, and you're not wasting sustain running up to a target to engage, which I really didn't like. You're sort of engaging on a target on bow, going in, doing your burst rotation, and kiting back out. If not, you can still play that way in heavy, obviously not with as many dodge rolls. But it works so well without playing the build. It's like I say, it reminds me back of Orn's in the Reach, and it reminds me of how I've played my Stamplar successfully and my Stamplar successfully. So that's why this is my preference, this patch. So obviously you're engaging on this bar, 20% chance to proc, so you can just weave light attack, poison inject. That's up most of the time. And then you can engage with a not crit rush, stampede, sorry, and you stampede in, and then your Ravager's coming on, and you go into town. If it doesn't work, you're jumping back. I'll attach some clips, maybe one clip, some 1v1s, maybe some, I think it's a 1v4, 1v5. I'll attach that at the end and narrate over it, just to give an illustration of what I'm actually talking about. So yeah, I think I've covered. I've covered all of the sets there. In terms of race, we're still an orc. The boon I've got is a serpent boon. This food, don't read that, it's bugged. All right, this is the stamina of it. I'll quickly show you it. Bear with. Okay, that's what you get from it. This food's really nice. Obviously you get the health recovery synergizing well with Troll King, the max health going nice with the Undaunted, the chunk of max stam, and the chunk of stam recovery. Alright, so go for this food. If you're not running this food and you can't afford this food, run Bone Pirate instead. You'll sustain a lot better. But I find this is definitely more balanced and better overall. So yeah, mentioned race orc. We've mentioned the food we're running. My health looks a little bit high in here right now. I've got an extra bonus from the Emp ship. We'll quickly talk over stats, I guess. So the back bar, the defending bar, some really nice resistances overall. Strong crit resist. I'll not go through everything. You can see the stam recovery there, the magic recovery, health recovery, all pretty nice. When you're getting the kills on the stam recovery, it will go up by quite a lot. Max stam just shy of 34k. You don't need to be in the 40s for a Stamplar, but you need to be peaking the 30s. Alright, 34 to 35 to 36, all good max stam pulls in my opinion. The health, as we can see, is really nice, and then due to the shackle break set, the Magicka is so, and the Undaunted that we're getting, the Magicka pull is so good. This has allowed me to make a change that I'll talk about when I get into skills in a moment. So front bar, just buffed with a rally. We're peaking 3k weapon damage, more than enough. Crit 29.2, more than often with jabs. This will be 39.2, which is absolutely fine. You know, pushing to 50% is fine in crit, in my opinion. Talked about the max resource pulls. The weapon damage and tooltips will buff obviously with Ravager. I can quickly show that now actually. Just pull these mobs here. But I just like this playstyle so much. Alright. So what have we got? I'll not illustrate the poison inject, but I'll just there we go. So 4386. More than enough. Alright, you can see it dropping down 3-7. Let's get rid of these guys. So yeah, crazy damage. You can see it procced again there. Crazy damage. Really nice overall. Really balanced. Obviously, you're not counting on this as well that you've got the bow. This doesn't show up on targets. sort of it doesn't show up on tooltips, but you will see it on raw damage. All right, so just put the poison inject on, but believe in it. It's as simple as that. I'll go through skills, and then I'll just show sort of like the way you want to be doing your typical burst rotation. Quickly go through CP, then I think that covers everything. We'll get to the clips at the back of the video. So right, skills. Obviously we made the change to 2H. Repentance, we slot this on the front bar. Really nice just to have it on the front bar for the extra sustain that it gives. The tri-sustain right there, 10% in all three areas, health, stamina and magicka. So really nice. Stampede, it hits quite hard. Can hit harder when we've woven in the Ravager, you've disengaged, then you're engaging again. But we like the snare, alright, we like the snare. 60% for 4 seconds is all we need. Jabs, main form of DPS. I'll just quickly buff them there. You can see just with the rally they're hitting nice 3-3 on each jab. Wrecking blow, tooltips look quite low. Sorry, dizzy swing. Tooltips do look quite low on this, 14.3, but I think it peaks to around 17, maybe 18k with Ravager, which on a Stamplar is really nice, because that's not your only type of burst. In my opinion, this 2H build has more burst than the dual wield build, just because of this move. Alright, this move puts them on the back. More than often or not, it's when the power of light's going to go, you're getting them. Alright, dizzy swing, and then we put rally on the front bar. Obviously Dawnbreaker as well. I think it buffs something, but somewhere in between 17 and 18k with Ravager, and obviously there's more if they've got the poison inject on them. So those are the skills. Front bar. Back bar, really simple. We've changed to restoring focus now. The magicka I was over sustaining in. Alright, with the mobility that we get from dodge roll and bow, and the ability, the max mag pool, so we can cleanse, use cleanse as shuffle. We can now run this. Alright, and I really like this for the protection that you get. You just get the extra bit tanky. I always feel like I'm in medium when I'm running a bow. I sort of feel a bit squishier, but it's not the case. 5 heavy, still with bow, with this works so well. Power of light, main burst, finally got this to over 20k. It was lacking a little bit not last patch. It was lacking a little bit on the last build, just due to the low max stamp pool. Alright, cleanse, talked about this. You want the extended version, cleanse up to 5 harmful effects. Poison inject, really strong dot. You can see at the bottom there as well, the dot damage deals up to 260% more, and this starts to stack as they fall below 50% health. So when you're in and out to get the burst, the second time, if they're still low, this is going to be hitting really hard. And then we run Vigor for our main heal. This doesn't buff to such a great amount, unless we're in, but when the Ravager's procced, it buffs up more. But you've got your Troll King heals and your health recovery there covering your ass, so it's not a problem. So we run the Werewolf transformation here as well, just because the stamina recovery gets a bit of an increase. I don't know if it's more. Yeah, it should be more on the back bar. 1.7 on the back bar, 1.705 on the front bar. Alright, so not much of a difference really at all. In terms of justifying these changes, I should have talked about this earlier. In the 200 skill line, really like the battle rush passive. A lot of people will have dual wield 2H back bar, and they'll get the kill with an execute. Then they'll get this. But the way I was playing it, I was finishing people on the dual wield bar, so I wasn't getting this. Alright, this is a huge chunk, 30% for 10 seconds after killing a target on this bar, which is more than often what you're going to be doing. The way this stacks with everything else, the recoveries, the sustain, they're a dream. They're perfect. They're just really good. So I don't really think, is there anything else yet to cover? I will just illustrate the max recoveries that you can get when you get the 2H passive procced with a potion as well. Let's put this guy right here. So we're looking at almost 2 4 stam recovery, really high health recovery as well, with the pot up there. So yeah, this is more than enough when you're moving from target to target and you're killing them, and obviously you've got the repent if you need it as well. Really great sustain. I'm so glad I've made this change. If you like this playstyle, I would definitely recommend it. I think we've covered more or less everything. We'll quickly go through CP. Actually, if I mentioned food, yeah, mentioned pots. The double damage poisons I'll talk about more when I go through the clips that I'll commentate. You can see the crazy damage that they output there. We'll go through CP for now. I'm not going to talk through this and justify it. I'll quickly skip through and you can copy it. Okay, there's the CP right there for you guys. Feel free to change that and do what you like with it in terms of maybe what you think might be better. Just remember to only go over on the percentage. Don't get it to sort of 29.7%. 29.77%, that's not 30%, that will just be 29, and the points obviously are reduced over time. If you are lower CP, you can just sort of roughly work out the ratios and just build it up in chunks, similar to the way that I've got it here. So I think I've covered everything, guys. I'll go over to the clips now, and I think I'll narrate a 1v1 with a Maj Sork. Now, obviously, this build isn't made for dueling; it's made for open world. But it's a 1v1 open world that I drop on, where the pressure from the dots, they really start to add up. And then I'll look at a 1vx clip, just a small one, just a really short one, open field. So yeah, we'll get into this now. So this first clip is like a staggered sort of 1v4 open field. I encounter a warden and someone who's sniping, and then another class I'm not quite sure of, and then I finish the Stamplar last. So we see the warden approaching, starts to put on some pressure, immediately dodge roll, poison inject, power of the light, go in. I can see he's got the bow ulti on me, but the Dawnbreaker and the power of the light time takes it. A few dodge rolls straight onto the snipe spam. You can see I got a 3k crit and poison inject. All the dots are ticking, the Ravager's procced, the dots finish that kid off as well. Just do a bit of kiting on the Stamplar. I'm aware that it could have some burst, so I need to be quite picky about this. I've got another target coming into the far left, I've just seen on the screen, not sure if he's getting involved. At this time I'm thinking he's going to get the res of the guy in the far hand side, but he doesn't. He stays in stealth till his friend comes. Same again, poison injects. Now crit, the gap closer saved me there. Alright, it allowed me to stop that res to get onto this kid. Lo and behold, the Nightblade comes back. He fancies his chances now. It's 2v1. This third guy's quite easy. Dawnbreaker, Ravager's procced there, takes it. Dodge rolls in heavy, yeah, legit. We like it. Get that cleanse. Just waiting my time. I know he's going to show. He wants this. He wants this bad. Just biding my time. Poison inject on, power of the light on. Dawnbreaker. No Ravager proc. But as he gets away, the dots tick and they take it. So yeah, really nice clip. Good illustration of what the build can do. This final clip is just a 1v1 against Maj Sork. So not like a duel, but it becomes a duel. It becomes a 1v1. Only one of them engages me. So starts giving me some pressure. I just immediately take line of sight, see what he's about. Start the standard burst rotation, poison inject, power of the light. You can see above the screen there, I have the debuff tracker, so I can track everything that I've got on the opponent. That's really nice and really worth having. Just because with the poison inject buff, you need to make sure you're staying on the right target. So this is nice just to see what's actually on the opponent. You can work out with the dots they're taking just how much pressure they're under. And you can see immediately off the bat, you know, I'm sustaining really well, managing to put him under a lot of pressure straight away. Break the CC there. The Sorks, this patch have got a really strong CC, room cage, room prison. I don't play Maj Sork, I'm not really sure what the name is, but yeah, it's buggy to break. But with the high health pool that we've got, most of the time we're really safe, and the heals that we're getting from Troll King, then just making us in general an hard target to burst down. You can see I've got a dizzy followed up by a crit rush there. And this Sork's not playing calmly. The last thing you want to do is to be against a Maj Sork 1v1 that can play calmly, where all the time we're putting pressure on him. Even when I'm not at range, I'm putting pressure on him with the dots and with the poison injects and the power of lights, making him think that I'm gonna engage. We can see the kiting, you know, the way he jumps around. I can do that exactly the same with the bow. Inject when I want. Miss the burst there. Don't quite get the timing down, but we can see, look at the dots ticking the orange. We've got the Dawny ticking for 3k crits. We've got 1k on the poisons and the dots that we're running. So yeah, just really chipping him away, trying to get the burst. I can't remember how long this 1v1 actually goes on for. You know, he's got the merciless title. He's a decentish Mage Sork. Big respect to the AD guy that comes in there that doesn't ruin the clip, just leaves it to roll out a nice 1v1. But most of the time, you see, he's not getting me in execute range. I'm really comfortable, and if you can play this comfortably, you'll do well, and you can perform, as I've shown before on the other clip, on multiple targets. You know, you can phase out the others, and you can focus down the targets that you want to get, and then move on to the next. So the cycle of rotation is still going. I am aware of my stam's dropped a little bit there, maybe too many odd dodge rolls. So we can just get some heavy attacks in, pots up, and we're back to 50%, ready to put the pressure on. Eventually this burst will get him. If the burst doesn't get him, you can see that the dots put the pressure on to cover the burst anyway. It goes on just for a little bit longer. You can see the survivability against a class that's performing really well. It's just insane. Back on again with that pressure. Thinks he's safe with the streak, moving out of the damage radius, but obviously you can't move with the dots. The dots go. It's the dots that actually get the kill. It's a really nice clip. So pressure's on again. Go with the Dawnbreaker, the jabs, streaks out of the way. But that thing's gonna pop. You got the crits. We've got the damage right there. Really nice clip illustrating the build performing 1v1.